Awesome. So how's it going, guys? I had some questions that I wanted to answer and kind of show about the teaser. I'm gonna take this off real quick. Just want to walk you guys through this teaser from Puerto Rico, and then kind of show you some of the things that we did. This is the final session. I guess I could delete that now. For like a clean session. This is it, right? So. It's pretty straightforward. I have some clips that are deactivated that we're not using, but overall, this is basically kind of the nuts and bolts. Music tracks, some dialogue, and then of course these are sound effects. So let me just start by playing this all the way through once, and then for those of you who've seen it, great, and for those of you who haven't seen it, that's good too.
Well, now really, when we go back then to falling in love and say it's crazy, there is always a curious tie at some point between the fall and the creation. You see, for all, the life is an act of faith and an act of gamble. The moment you enter into any kind of human undertaking in relationship, what an act of faith. Total abandonment. I give myself to you.
Cool, so that's that. I actually made a video about choosing songs for teasers for this teaser film. I had like 4 or 5 songs in there and just kind of went through each of them, kind of edited them actually. It's like a 30-minute video of me editing 4 or 5 things. Ended up choosing this song. I've made changes like to the song after that video to really shorten it down. But yeah, let me kind of talk about that real quick. One of my favorite things to do in Final Cut X is to make compound clips. So editing music, I like doing inside of a compound clip. Basically, like right here, once I make these edits, I can go in here and adjust things and move everything around. And if I need to adjust volume on the music track in relation to dialogue, it's just easier to do it in a compound clip instead of like on these individual ones and all that stuff. So this is the music edit. This song is chopped and screwed quite a bit. It's one of the most difficult songs I've had to edit just because of some of the chord structures and stuff like that, but it's a really cool song. So that's that. And then sound effects, I'll get into that. I actually started this film off with, originally I was going to have drone stuff. That didn't happen. So I kind of just soloed this. I was going to open with a drone shot, but then my drone stuff I bought it from a guy. It didn't get to me in time, so I had to think creatively. I talked to Sarah from Penn Weddings at Wedding Film Retreat, and she talked about just having some wow factor shots at the very, very front. So for me, this is a detail shot, but it is something really interesting for a bride that's looking for a videographer. It's just like instantaneously, like once you get past the logo, you're just like, oh wow, that's gorgeous, right? So pretty cool. I discovered this really new effect that I'm quite in love with right now, and it's only for detail shots, like rooms like that, like where it would make sense to see something like this. But originally, this is what the shot looked like. It was flat. It was static lighting. There's no spinning gobo lights. But this effect from Cinegrain is called rotating lens, and it literally looks like there was gobo lights on there. And it adds some grain, so check this out. It's like this really cool texture, grain, but then also just looks like they're spinning gobo lights.
Well, now really, when we go back then to falling in.
That is an actual crystal. Let me just point that out. So it's an actual crystal in front of the lens, but I added this to keep the continuity there. And then I took it away for this. There's just regular grain. So I took it away for that, and then once you get back into these reception details, I added it back in. Like this shot is really boring without that.
And say it's crazy.
and you put this back on, it's like, oh yeah.
And say it.
It just looks like there's gobos in the room. So really, really cool effect that I found from Cinegrain. And my blend mode on that too, guys, just so you guys know, is overlay. So like either with that you can go hard light or overlay. If you go hard light, it's going to be a little bit stronger. So I went with overlay, kind of blended in there a little bit better. Yeah, so that's kind of the big thing. Kind of that I've been using some really coarse like black and white grain overlay. You can see it's pretty strong here in the midtones. And then let's see. I want to talk about a couple transitions. So this is actually a transition I'm really fond of. It's just like this little light thing. You're gonna laugh really hard when I show you what this is. I'm gonna play it back at regular speed, and I'm gonna I'm gonna turn off the effects, and I'm gonna turn off the transformation, and I'm gonna put this to normal. So this is actually the original shot, and I originally had just sped that up, right? But it didn't quite feel right. So if I play that back at regular time. Anyways, so basically what I did was I made the blend mode to add. So you're like, oh, that looks kind of shitty. And then I transformed it. I'll show you why here in a second. Let me actually maybe show you on this shot. So it kind of like, I don't know, it just seemed kind of like it wasn't, because there's so much black on both sides, it didn't seem like it was covering the full frame, so I went full frame like that, right? And then the thing that's really funny is I flipped it. So I just flipped it, and then I put on a Gaussian blur because I didn't want to be able to see what I didn't want her like outline and everything, so I put on this Gaussian blur, and then of course sped it up real fast. And actually I hope I can go back to, yeah, I sped it up to 1406. So anyways, down the road I'll probably sell that as a glitch pack because it seems to work very well. So very, very cool. That's that glitch, and I use that several times in the film, but it's literally the funniest shot from before and after. And then over here, this is literally just taking the end of this clip. So if I was to play this back at regular speed and maybe change the normal mode. It's just a gimbal clip. The gimbal clip moved on regular, so I just sped it up super fast to 1257%, and then offset it over top of this so that it kind of creates this that effect right there, and then into his shirt, right? And there's like a little swoop sound effect down here. This is from Singularity, I think. Not the best, but it works. So those are like the glitches, and then I only have one other glitch that I used. I cut back to a detail shot here. I did a different, what's funny is that I don't think any of the filmmakers commented that this is like a fake lens flare, but it totally is, because they didn't question it because there's a big light source in my shot. But yeah, so I have this little lens flare. That's about all I get with the Milvis glass. And so I added this because it just made it a little more interesting, you know? So I was feeling it, so that was kind of cool. I tried the rotating lens thing. I just wasn't, it was a little too much, kind of distracting, you know? So I tried another one. This is also from Lens Distortions. No, Cinegrain. No, Lens Distortions. Hold on. Yeah, sorry, that's what it's from. Lens Distortions, Cinegrain, not Lens Distortions. Cool. So that's Cinegrain, and then blend mode on that is overlay as well. I turned it down to 24% just because it's too much there, right? So, you just gotta play with things, right? And then the only other transition I use in this entire film is this transition. It's one I use. No, not this one. Oh, I did use this one. Yeah. This is very just like color burn, super normal. Where's it at? Can I use this somewhere else? Oh yeah, flash frame 2. So that one, right? Is it, what? super easy. It is also from, this one is from Cinegrain as well. And so let me just kind of walk you through that. I grabbed 2 seconds and 17 frames. And you're like, how'd you choose 2 seconds and 17 frames? Well, I just go through basically this pattern until those red colors disappeared. If I was to turn this off, it's probably easier to see. So red patterns disappeared right there, right? You can kind of see it right here too. So that's what I did. Anyways, put that at screen, lower the opacity on 61, and then bam, next thing you know, there we go. Because if I kept it at 100, it was just too intense. So that's it. So just super sped up to be 5 frames, basically. 5 or 7 frames is kind of what you want for these overlay glitch kind of things. I like odd numbers, you know, just my personal preference. I like having it where it's 2 frames before the cut, so 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. That's kind of my idea. Or 7, so it'd be 3 and 4. I'm just rambling at this point, but that's all. Sorry, excuse me. That's all the glitches and stuff, and that's just kind of the idea behind it. This right here, same thing. That's the exact same weird, weird thing from earlier that I just flipped and blurred. So I'm gonna keep that one in my library for a while and then sell it later after I've used it a bunch. Yeah, so I can talk about sound design. That was really straightforward. I talked about how I was going to open up the drone shot, so I had that. This is from Lens Distortion. This is from their sound pack, and it's one of my favorite little effects. It's not too specific for song keys for the key of the song, so it's pretty great. So check this out. This is what it sounds like without it. It's pretty wild.
Well, now really, when we go...
Like, it's good, makes sense, but this has a little pop to it.
Well, now really, when we go back then to falling in love.
Yeah, love it. I used it there. I only use it 2 places. I used it there and here.
What an act of faith.
What's crazy if you take it out.
Relationship. What an act of faith.
Again, just a little something. It's not a cymbal swell. It's a little bit more kind of, ethereal. And then I have some hits, right? So I have a bunch of hits in here that are not in the original track. You probably can't hear that on the recording, but... Verses with a hit. So just a little something to get the... Yeah, that's that. Just give me a little pattern basically, and then I got a bunch of hits up here on the first 3 beats basically. So yeah. Yep, that's it right there. And then there's this long hold. Should probably do that. So that's the sound design, and then of course I have Rising Cymbals. Rising Cymbals are a really big deal to me. So, like, let me show you what it sounds like without it.
I give myself to you.
It's good, right? And I didn't want to do the clash chart because I wanted more of a crescendo.
I give myself to you.
So Rising Cymbals are where it's at, guys. Super awesome. Same thing over here at the end. I had to do the Rising Cymbal. Anyway, so I hope that kind of gives you guys some good insight into it. Like I said, I'll link below in the video, but I have this song edit, like me actually choosing the song for this teaser as well as editing, the song. This has been edited further than that video. But it kind of gives you an idea of what I'm looking for when I'm looking for teaser video songs, and like kind of my process for editing. Pretty straightforward, but if you're curious, you can check it out. Anyways, thanks for watching, thanks for listening, and talk to you guys a little bit later. All right, adios.